Hello everybody, thank you for joining me in the Fassst Lane. You know this is your man, Jay Mack. It's February, we're doing the dream on February 23rd, 2020. I had two dreams, but I should say one, but one happened after the other, so I just called it two. Now, the first dream was I was in an airplane and I jumped out of it and parachuted into a building. Now, normally, Miss you said if you're flying in the air, that'd be witchcraft, but I was an actual airplane flying. Now, to me, the crazy thing was parachuting. I thought it would land in the building, on the building, but it went inside of it. So that may have been some elements of witchcraft, so I rebuked that. Um, the flying in the dream, I don't know whether that was a good dream or not, so you know what to do. It was a good or bad. A dream you can't decipher, you thank God for it and come in agreement with the good. If not, you rebuke it. The second dream was that at the end of the workday, in order to get out of the building, you had to walk to a ledge on the floor where you at work and jump down. I did it once and I had to do it again and again and again. And each time I did it, I guess the day was going by like that. Because that's the way everyone was leaving. You just had to jump off the ledge. And every time I jumped, it kept getting higher and higher and higher. Now, I don't know if this was witchcraft, evil, or what. I condemned it, just to be sure. I rebuked it. Now, the ledge had gone to the point where it was so high that I was scared to jump. Now, as I hesitated to jump, notice the crazy thing, I was very high on top of this building. Three women walked by. There's one woman by herself and then two women together. I was able to see them on ground level, like as if I was there, even though I was up on the ledge. To me, that was a red flag, so I had to rebuke that, whatever that represents. It only could be magic that I could be two places at once. But it could also be insight, so you know what to do when in doubt. Now, the first woman walked by, the other two stopped and looked. And one of the women said, well, the women who, two women who were together, one had stopped and one walked on, and she turned back and asked the other one who stopped, why did you stop? And she was like, I want to see this guy jump. And I was like, what? So I looked behind me and there was a man behind me, and I couldn't see his face. Red flag. And then I understood why I was able to be on the ground to hear these two women's conversation while I'm way up on the top of this building. Anyway, the guy just stood there and then he said, well, I'm not gay, so he was down there too, even though he was up there with me. But even though the gay guy being homosexual means that in a dream someone is pretending to be something they're not. And that's a red flag. The other red flag is the fact that he's right there. He's just less than 3 feet from me, but I couldn't see his face. Red flag. Gotta rebuke that. Now, a second gentleman showed up and he'd asked me, hey, what's taking so long for you to jump? How come you're scared to jump? And he said, you just jump out of the airplane to come to work. Why are you scared to jump off a ledge? I told him, well, I jump out of an airplane with a parachute. There is no parachute to jump. Anyway, I finally decided to jump. Now, on the way down, I stopped to get a 4 square foot slab of pink marble, 2 feet by 2 feet. And then once I got it, I continued going down. But I didn't go any faster, even though I was supposed to. That was a red flag. The fact that I could stop on my descent was a red flag. And I rebuked that also. Now, as I was about to land, I opened my legs wide to brace for the fall. And bear in mind, I'm falling from a high height, no parachute, and I stopped to get a pink slab of 2x2, a slab of marble. But I landed softly, I didn't even hurt myself. Oh, I had to go and jump again. Because that's what was happening. I kept doing it over and over and over. Now, after that high jump, I had to do it again. I wasn't scared, I just did it. Now, I don't know when the arrangement was made, but a co-worker had asked me for a ride. So instead of jumping again, I waited on her by my car, and she never showed up. So I got my car and I left. And this was interesting. Also, it was me driving in the driver's seat at last. I thank God I was able to be in the driver's seat of my car in my dreams. For a whole year, I was either in the passenger seat, the back seat, or a passenger on the bus. I'm finally in the driver's seat, but it's dark. So even though I thank God for being in the driver's seat, I had to rebuke the darkness. Because according to Minister Ewing, darkness is a sign of witchcraft. So I had to rebuke that. Then I had an next dream where I walked to a tree to take a pee, and then I woke up out of my dream. Alright. That was that dream. Now I had another dream. February, I'm looking at the time, because I will keep this as short as possible, 10 minutes, 15 the most. So I hope I have enough time for this. Now this is February 25th, 2020. I had to do this video over, because when I read the dream, it seemed crazy. Then I realized, I remember the dream, so I had to stop the video and to retell it. Now, on February 25th, 2020, this is almost a year in, from the Lord opened my eyes to the witchcraft activity in my life. And I've been sitting at the foot of the master teacher, Minister Kevin L.A. Ewing. Anyway, let's move on. Now, for some strange reason, I was in a police station. Now, the police station was set up like a cheesy 90s police precinct. You know, people talking to the police type in, you know, the normal thing. Then there's interrogation rooms. Now, I was able to see into the interrogation room, even though the doors were closed. Alright, just bear that in mind. Now, a woman just walked into the police station, started talking to me. I don't know her. I can't remember what we were saying, but we were going back and forth. Now, on my left, to the very end, were like the interrogation rooms. And this lady, she was talking to a police officer. Now, I don't know why that was significant. Anyway, now, an employee, a woman, I don't know if she's a police because she was in a uniform. She walked up to me to ask to speak to me, or the detective. I told her, well, miss, I'm not a police officer. I don't even know what I'm doing here. The detective is over here. He was in the room talking to this other woman. So the lady, she walked to the room to go and speak to the detective who's in the other room talking to another woman. Then this lady showed up who I know, but I never thought of. She just popped up. Clear blue sky. I know her very well. Now, the detective who was in the room talking to another woman, all of a sudden I was able, like I said, I could see into the room. I could just see him talking. Now, a police officer came out of nowhere, walked into the room. Now, remember now, the detective was talking to a woman. Now, there's another police officer walked in the same room, but it was a man. And the police officer stabbed the man, and the guy came out. The police officer stabbed him in the throat, and the guy came out holding his throat. And the detective turned to me and told me, "Come in the room." I was like, "What?" I don't know. Now, he sort of hesitated, just like I draw back. Right? So he said, "No, you can come in the room and I'll leave. But you can come in." He would come in the room and he would come out of the room. And an officer in the room, will be in there. Yes. So the officer who stabbed the man in the room, he was in there. I don't know what happened to the woman, but the detective was telling me to come in. I told him no. So I acted stupid, like I had no sense, and asked him, like, "What do you want me to do?" So the detective got angry, and he yelled and told me he wants me to come in the room. And he said he wants to trade places with me. Now, I'm like, "This your job. You stay in that room, I'll stay out here." I knew something was wrong, and I didn't go. Because, that's a red flag. Already in the police station. Now there's a murder, the woman being in there, then all of a sudden the man comes out who got stabbed. Like, where was that man in the first place? He wasn't there. Like I told you, I could have seen inside the door even though it was closed that the detective was talking to a woman. So, to me, confusion. Right there. Okay, the Bible says let things be done in decency and order. And confusion and chaos is the opposite of order. So right there and then I know that right there was evil. So I didn't go. I knew something was wrong and I didn't go. Now the detective came out of the room and went into another room with another woman. And the door closed behind him. And the woman who was in there, the first room, like I told you, this was confusing, who was in the first room with the detective where the man got stabbed in the neck by the police officer. She came out with a knife in her bleeding. She got stuck somewhere in her body, either chest or stomach. Then the police in the room during the stabbing shoved, the guy in the police room, even though we were probably 20 feet apart, he showed up beside me, standing to my right. My left shoulder stood the room. Now the woman, she came out of the room bleeding. I know, this is crazy. She came out bleeding, and then my man showed up here, and I'm like, how I can see her come out of the room? My man in there, and he's right here. Anyway, and he was hiding his hand behind his back. Yeah, he was standing beside me to my right. I didn't even see him come out of the room, but he showed up on my right with his hand behind his back. Now, the detective who was in the room with the lady that got stabbed, who left to go to another interrogation room with another woman, he came out and he kept asking me to go in the room where the gentleman got stabbed in the neck and where this woman walked out with a knife in her body. And he asked me to come in the room, and I keep asking what he wanted. He told me, "Come in the room." Then all of a sudden, this woman showed up in the room. I don't know if she was there or just showed up, but she had a beautifully cut wool tan overcoat, and that caught my eye. For some reason, she was standing in my way, blocking my ability to see what was inside, going on inside the room now. Because she was standing there, I couldn't see inside. And the detective keeps saying, "Just go in the room, just go in the room." And I stood there and I didn't move. Then the lady who I know very well, she came up to ask me, "Where's the bathroom?"